Hi, hello, happy Sabbath and Shabbat Shalom. Painted some stripes. They look so bright on the camera. They don't look that bright to me. Anyhow, I painted the stripes on there for references for my work over here that I've been doing with this stairway. There's one of those tools over here in the corner. And if you get up close, you notice, well, the rug is gone here. And so are some of the steps, as I needed that room for that steel bar for a straight edge. And it may rain some more today. There's a little bit of sprinkles came down, but that won't affect anything because I've got my work pieces covered up. Anyhow, so basically is that I've been working further on these stairs, and I know some people could have this whole job done in one day. Good deal. More power to you. Proud of you. But I can't, because, well, pretty much I'm a cripple for one. And the other side of it is that it's just me. I don't have a team of people to hold the other end of the tape measure, so I pretty much, and it's just me, and it slows things down a lot. You know, I've hardly ever been able to work fast on anything by myself. Now, this poor little plant, still alive, but you notice that Mr. O'Malley has literally hammered that metal cage into scrap metal cage. Anyhow, that was kind of something they knocked I had that tied on there, and they knocked that off of there, because he's a beast, I tell you what. He ain't no playing around. They wanted that plant so bad that they just really ripped it up. The one they couldn't get to, it's doing pretty good actually. Still even growing, even though it's been flowering. It's still growing anyhow. So, neat. Covering these things. Now so far to this point, they have absolutely positively never made any fruit. This grapevine here. None of its flowers, I say it has never made any fruit. It puts on a lot of flowers and then they all rot, and it never makes any fruit. If it does this year, it'll be the first time since it was ever sprouted that it ever fruited. But getting up close here, you can see that these flowers are open, but they're also turning brown and rotting at the same time. And of course, I'm stupid. Ants. We call them farmer ants. Bring aphids up here and stuff. So this thing may never, ever make any fruit. That'd be terrible. Suck. Maybe one day I might get mad and cut the thing down. I could just cut the thing down and be done with it. But I hope it'll eventually bear fruit. These supposedly lentils are just making these goofy little seed pods that are about worthless at this point. I don't know if that's because they're some kind of hybrid, it doesn't come back true, or what. But either way, they're not making lentils that look like the lentils you get out of the bag. So I'm a bit unhappy with that. Now going over here to the, there's some of the stairs material I took out while working, because all that rotten, you see how rotten that crap is, has to be replaced. Over here, these things are still growing, and they're growing generally pretty lively. This one here, the only cauliflower out of the batch, at least that I know of yet, is, well, it's already setting its flowers. The others haven't. This thing hasn't died yet, but it isn't doing much. Then you got these cucumbers under here that are struggling. Even if a couple of them survive, that's going to be pretty good actually. Again, a couple of the pink garlic are surviving still. I don't remember if that's a pink garlic or a white garlic. It's a garlic, but it's one, I don't know if it's which one. Now, going over to more prosperous gardening. Of course, oh yeah, let's go back for a moment and recover the issue of the of the stairways since we're here. Alright, might notice I put some marks on here. Basically, somewhere along in here, I put several marks because I'm still not for sure where I'm going to cut it at. And that's very frustrating. But I got marks on this end, and then underneath all this, I don't even know if I can, there we go. I got marks on that end as well. So somewhere in there, that should be the top and the bottom ends of this. And then I'll put the ledgers and the steps in between. So when I get those, another reason these are slow is they're heavy. You know, it's not like a little 6 foot by 2 by 6 stringer like half of this or something. It's 16 feet by 2 by 12. And people say, well, why make it so big? Because it has to be. Both because of building codes and because of the fact that it's just a, you know, it's a 16 foot span. These were used as baseline for template marking. I swept a spot over here where I had the, where is it? Oh, it's that same piece of material here. This assembly here was kind of my bracer that I used to measure with. And I took these old rusty bolts, pins, whatever they were called. I think they were actually bolts for something because they look like they got hexagonal heads, but they were all rusty down. And I just ground the ends sharp and used them like big old earth nails. Drove them in the ground to pin that in place while I worked. And so I had it pinned out here in the ground and then measured off of it to get my angles. So it was a booger, but I got it done. On to further steps. In other words, I'm far from done. I just got that part done. Now getting over here, out of my unplanned, which most of what I do is unplanned, unfortunately. Alright, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 new seeds germinating in watermelons, not to mention the originals, and then the one that of course has decided to keel over and die. So hopefully I'll have a few watermelons this season, hard to say. And then I've got those tomatoes here that have not yet died from my lack of proper treatment, and those two raspberries that haven't yet died from my lack of care somehow. Then we move over to these lovely critters. They've put on fruit. There's a few of them around here. They put on these little berries that theoretically are inedible, so I've been told, and potentially even poisonous, but they're cute, so I'm pretty much letting them grow just because I like the fact that they're there and they're cute. And so this thing's flowering. These potatoes have been flowering and fruiting and hopefully putting on tubers. I have no way of knowing until because I'm not going to dig them up till the end of the year, till they've gone through their whole cycle. I'm going to give them every chance as possible to give the biggest and best tubers I can get out of them. And some people say, well, pick the fruit off, that's taking energy from them. It might be. Not a lot. Besides, although some people say they're inedible, other people say they're edible, so whatever. Some people call them tom fruit or tom berries or something. And they're particularly, and that's kind of, they're not tomato, they're potato, but they're called tom berries. So, by some people. So we'll see. Okay, this purple tomato over here got its one current fruit on here that I'm aware of. Of course, it seems none of them are making a lot. I hadn't added a lot of phosphorus yet, so I just added some more phosphorus a day or two ago, so not very long ago, so they probably haven't really gotten enough phosphorus to flower very well yet. This thing, though, it's still flowering to beat the band, and it also got some more phosphorus. Of course, and amongst all these is some of the garlic. I think these are pink garlic, to be honest with you. I don't remember. It may not be. Again, the pink garlic was the stuff that grew here wild, and in theory it was doing great, but then it wasn't. So, unknown as to what the deal is. Maybe I just got the wrong soil pH or something. Now, speaking of flowering, over here, our strawberry plant is putting on another flower or two, one of them. So those that haven't died are still trying to be living, and I know that kind of sounds like, well, of course, but anyhow, so I've got some strawberry flowering. Whether it fruits or not, I don't know. And then over here in our tomatoes, we've got the fruit starting to put on pretty good, I think. Of course, this one was split, but, you know, it's dealing with itself. And then these over here, it's got 4 on it. And then this one's got, I don't know how many, 2 for sure. So they're going slowly and making fruit slowly, but they're going, so just keep fertilizing them, I guess. The bell peppers in here, I realize they should probably be spread apart and given more root stock, but right this moment, well, I ain't got nowhere to put them just yet. I said I have nowhere to put them. I'm fixing up a place to put a lot of these different ones, especially the squash, which I did not actually take pictures of this morning because, well, they don't look a lot different. We'll cruise over here real quick on my way to the next stage of that and give a quick glance of our tea rose, which is still flowering. And then a few of the irises are still flowering. Most of the irises, I'm pretty sure, are done for the year. And so, kind of one of them deals that you get what you get. Oh, there's a kitty. I don't like spooking the kitty. I don't know if you can see it there. Hello, there's a kitty. Hello. Hello. Yes. Here's a baby. Yes. You're going right where I need to go, baby. Yeah. You're going right where I need to be. Yeah. That's not convenient. But yeah, there you go. See that? That feral cat is the only real cat around these parts. And so I, try not to scare it off. Alright, you may or may not notice there's a straight little line and a square, and then I pulled these blocks out here and started a new quote-unquote square. And in the process, I'm expanding this area and bringing in some more compost so I can put for a fact, the squash and probably some other vegetables in here. I'll probably take this line and move it over to where that line is more. It's got a half block turned in sideways because I think what had happened is it just got crooked and I wasn't paying attention, so I'll just have to move it over and probably even get myself the mattock out and pick some of the dirt and stuff off so I can get a straight line in there so that I can square that out better. I got 12 or 13 squash plants to put in here. One of them does look like it's dying, which would leave me with 12 instead of 13. But anyhow, I've got however many of those to go, and then on top of that, I'll try to put in any other tomatoes and potatoes and stuff that I can put in there. And hopefully I'll have some good productive crops. You notice all this mud over here that's coming off the mountain. It's probably pretty rich soil, but it's probably very acidic too, because of the fact that it comes off that hill. All the cedars are full of tannin, and therefore they make the ground very acidic. And my theory is that is why that the irises didn't flower this year, is because the soil got too acidic and they just couldn't handle it. So they didn't flower right in this area. That's my best guess anyway. The peony, I'm not going to walk over there today. It's on its like last 2 or 3 blooms. It did pretty well, all things considered. So I'm pretty proud of it for even surviving, let alone doing super well. That little herb over there is still doing okay. Over here, my mom had been asking about larkspurs. I'm like, well, no, there weren't any, and then suddenly there was, and then now there's another. So here we got another larkspur. It's a little shorter than the others, but and it's not as mature yet. But it's a larkspur, so they haven't completely gone extinct around here. But yeah, all the irises over here have pretty much done their thing, or very nearly. They're almost completely gone as far as they've bloomed and done their thing. Then there's these little mint plants, that whatever kind they are, they're flowering still. And then of course the golden clover, or yellow clover, and then white clover, which I never seem to take a picture of. And then the yellow or golden alfalfa, whichever you can call it. And daisies it should be alright for a couple more weeks anyhow. The Queen Anne's lace is coming up all over. I just about bet you that the elderberry is blooming, but I don't particularly feel like going down there this morning. This another version of wild lettuce. Can't tell you which one it is because I don't remember, but anyhow, it makes a really big flower, really pretty. It makes a big giant puff ball of seeds. Very decorative. Oddly enough, for as many seeds as it makes, it doesn't seem to reproduce very rapidly, so it's never an invasive species. Of course, over here, whatever these plants are, they've already gone through their opening stage, I think, or they're opening for now. So, I don't know what they're called, but they make their little yellow flowers. And then over here we've got our echinacea, purple coneflower, and then the foxglove, and then some black-eyed Susans. And these things haven't quite opened all the way up yet. The butterfly weed is starting to come out here and there. Wild petunias, there's quite a few wild petunias this morning. Oddly enough, don't ask me why, the dog's bane is dying. It's not opening as a flower this year. It's failing. Yeah, all I can say is, well, too bad. You know, I don't know what's wrong with it, but it ain't working right. And it's not just one plant, it's pretty much all of them. Again, my other 2 larkspur over here, they're almost complete. They've just about finished their whole bloom cycle. Well, it looks like it's putting up a new shoot. But yeah, larkspur is almost done here. Those sunflowers, that one is ahead of the others, but they're all coming up. They're going to be just brilliant for a large portion of the year. I really like those. Lots and lots of brilliant flowers for a large portion of the year. Of course, the onions are seeding out, and I'll have to do something about that. I don't know. I don't know if I will. Maybe I'll just let them all fall off and try to reproduce where they're at. It is what it is. I'm not in a position where I can really do anything with them yet. I don't have enough garden. Oh, poppies. Poppies. Let's go over here and see about these little poppies over here. Look at that. Whole bunch of them. Yeah. They seem to be doing pretty good overall. This one's got the best showing. Again, when I hold the thing still for a few seconds, I do that just so that if people want it for a screenshot, they can. Just because, hey, why not? Let me see. There's another poppy over there. Now, for those who might worry, they're not opium poppies. They're not poisonous or illegal or anything. They're just plain old North American wild poppies. So they're not harmful to me, the animals, or anything else. Not that I'd eat them anyhow, because it looks like the deer ate them, though. See, the animal bit the top off of it. It can't be too harmful, or the animal will be dead somewhere. Oh well. Of course, I don't know. It could be dead somewhere, and I wouldn't know it, but I seriously doubt it. Ain't no reason to assume. So I haven't gotten a lot more cleaning up done this week around here. I haven't really moved a lot of the stuff further than I had it moved the last time I gave a report, because I've been working on the stairway, and that takes all my time, and I don't get very much done, unfortunately. Just generally, in my old creaky, crotchety age, I don't get much done, so what can I say? Coming over here, of course, to give you a little closer shot of these coneflowers and see if there's any hopes this year of course, there's some wild petunias that I don't even remember being over here before. Let's see if these gladiolas have any promise of flowering or not. Hard to say. They look really wonderful, but they're not clearly flowering yet either. The mint's looking good, but I don't know if it'll flower or not. Probably will. The touch-me-nots are still in bloom, a little bit here and there. Oh, I can see a couple of irises over there on the edge that apparently late bloomers. Yeah, these are seed colonies. In other words, they weren't planted here by people, they were planted here by the forces of nature, like wind and birds and stuff. Yeah, I don't see any clear evidence that these gladiolas are going to bloom this season. They may pop up at the last moment and surprise me, but I'm not holding my breath. It is what it is, it ain't what it ain't. This thing's still got the last few stragglers of flowers on it. It gave a pretty good run for a few weeks. Pretty bright. The catalpa has a couple of flowers on it. Not a lot, but more than zero. Let me get another shot of these touch-me-nots through here. And then let me get up here. So the catalpa is putting on a couple of flowers. Not many, but a few. It tends not to flower very much for some reason, but it did this year. Not much, but some. And then again over here in the corner, we've got a bunch of wild petunias that I don't remember being over here before. So funny thing is they even seed uphill. Or as you think, well, naturally they'll seed downhill. Gravity, water, wind, and all that. They apparently can seed uphill too. Of course, here's some nightshade. People say, oh, nightshade's terrible. Well, I don't know. Of tomatoes and potatoes are part of the nightshade family, and some people are addicted to nightshade in the form of tobacco, so I don't know where that came from. That must have come from either our car or a neighbor's car. It's a piece of rubber flap, not in the middle of the road. Oh well, whatever it is, I'll just set it off the side of the road there and not worry about it, but it's just kind of... Oh, there's an iris on this side. I don't remember there being irises over here. So, cool. I mean, there's some irises down in that area. I don't think I'm going to necessarily go down there. I just don't feel inspired to go downstairs this morning. I've been really sleepy, drowsy, and tired a lot lately. I don't know if it's because of my age, my diet, or anything like that, but my mom's also felt sleepy and tired a lot lately, so could be something in the air. Mold, who knows? I don't know. Anyhow, so that's pretty much, I didn't do anything in the shop at all this week. That's pretty much the whole kit and caboodle. So, well, oh, yeah, I don't know if I'd showed that I moved all this stuff over here. I thought I had. Anyhow, got that cart from downstairs. It needs a lot of greasing because it doesn't move very well. Drags the wheel sideways. Oh, so hopefully in the future I'll have more to report on than, and I always say that and then end up not really having anything to say. So other than flowers, these things will make flowers. They make a bright ivory colored flower, and so they'll come up all over the place, as will the Russian Lespedeza will make. These things here make lots of tiny pink flowers all over. So, and then hopefully we've got some bachelor buttons. There's a mint. I've seen it downstairs. It's a flavorful mint, but I don't know what it's called. As in, I don't know what its genus and phylum and all that stuff is. It's just I know it's a form of mint that grows on this land. And, you know, they're pretty much, I don't say they're strong mint. They're not tasteless mint either. But I'm just going to leave it there and let it go to seed. Who knows, maybe there'll be a lot of it. If I pick it before it makes seeds, that won't have any more. I don't even know if it's an annual or perennial. It's the first time I've seen one here. So whether it is an annual or perennial, give it a chance to make seeds and maybe there'll be more of them. I've seen them downstairs before, but not often and not many. So it may be something that struggles to live in this area. I don't know. We shall see what we shall see. Other than that, there's other mysterious plants in there that I could hope are bachelor buttons. They could be something else too. But whatever they are, they're slowly growing up in there. Of course, I got tree stuff to cut off in there, like ash or some kind of tree like that. And then over here, these I think are asters. Those should be asters that come up in the late fall and just flower like crazy for a couple weeks. We've had some pretty good success with asters. Or the asters have had success since we haven't tried to raise them or anything. Here's another one of mint. Prodigious little critter. Lots and lots and lots of flowers. Again, I don't think this mint has any flavor like edible. It just has flowers, and that's pretty much what you'd want it for. So that being what it is, you know, just, yeah, okay, I'm out of things to point at. And so, Yahweh willing, I'll be back here next week and I can show you something more meaningful, but if not, well, I'll at least show you what flowers are around. So, you have a blessed rest of your day and your week and coming up, and hopefully we'll have some more excitement to show you next week. So, bye for now. Shabbat Shalom.